What a treat to be here this morning. It is a place that I've wanted to come on many occasions, and I'm ashamed to say this is my first time here, but it won't be my last. Again, Mayor Courtney Peters Manning, thank you so much for kicking things off and for your leadership of Hopewell Township. Incredibly honored to be joined by several luminaries today, including, among others, the Speaker of the General Assembly, great leader Craig Coughlin, Assemblyman, his colleague in the Assembly, Anthony Varelli. Anthony, great to have you with us. Our Secretary of State, Tahisha Way, is in the House. Bless you. Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Protection, Sean LaTourette. We are in Mercer County, and with the great county executive with us, County Executive Brian Hughes. Brian, always an honor. We also have Carrie Fellows, who we're going to hear from, Executive Director of the Crossroads of the American Revolution Association. Carrie, honored. And we will have in a few minutes the outstanding Congresswoman representing the 12th District, Bonnie Watson Coleman. So when she comes in, we'll give her another round of applause. I said to the gentleman who greeted me, I apologize for not wearing the tri-corner hat that I have in my closet, so forgive me for that. So, as they say, every good party needs planning. And when that party is going to celebrate the 250th birthday of our nation, we need to start that planning a little sooner. By the way, may we also start that planning by beating Iran at 2 o'clock this afternoon in the World Cup. Had to get that off my chest. Today we are here not only to root for the USA this afternoon, but to underscore the importance of the investment of $25 million in federal American Rescue Plan funds through our state budget. And again, I want to thank the Speaker and Anthony and their colleagues profusely. And that $25 million will be invested in 10 Revolutionary War sites across our state to not only help restore them, but to make them ready for future visitors, including, by the way, making them all ADA compliant. Before I go through the list of 10 sites, I want to also say that this is not the last money. I know the Speaker and the Assemblyman will join me in that respect. We want to make sure that New Jersey has its rightful place, which I'll get into a few moments, as we commemorate and celebrate the 250th anniversary of our great nation. So the 10 sites, if you could bear with me, one right here at Washington's Crossing. Two of them are in Trenton, the old barracks and the Battle Monument, Princeton Battlefield State Park, Monmouth Battlefield State Park, Proprietary House in Perth Amboy, which I believe is part of your district, Craig, the seat of the colonial government under Royal Governor William Franklin, Haddonfield's Indian King Tavern, where our newly independent legislature drafted and passed our first state laws, Somerville's Wallace House, which was General George Washington's headquarters in the winter of 1778 and into the late spring of 1779, Boxwood Hall in Elizabeth, the home of Elias Boudinot, who was serving as president of the Confederation Congress when the Treaty of Paris ended the war in September 1783. Sean and Tahisha will agree with me that it's too bad Joe Fiordaliso is not with us, because Joe was there at that time. I hope Joe's watching. And Rockingham in Kingston, where George Washington was staying when he received word of the Treaty of Paris and where he penned his famous letter resigning his command. So those are 10 extraordinary sites that we proudly call home in New Jersey. So through Revolution NJ and led in partnership with the New Jersey Historical Commission and Crossroads of the American Revolution, we're going to make our state's unique history come alive in time for July 4th, 2026. By the way, I might add, tying this back to the World Cup game today, we will be hosting the World Cup at that very time. We'll have, my guess is, 7 or 8 games in New Jersey right in and around that time. So, heritage tourism is an important and growing part of our tourism economy. Over the past several decades, we've come to recognize that bulldozing our past is really no way to move into our collective future. If we can't recognize where we came from, we really won't be able to know where we're going. And right now, when it seems our nation is at an interminable partisan stalemate, it is our time to fully embrace our state's important role in our nation's birth and upbringing. Because without New Jersey, and especially without this very ground on which we stand, as Courtney referenced, there may not be a United States of America. So a quick history lesson. Not 6 months after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the American cause, in many respects, appeared all but lost. Routed in Brooklyn and New York, General Washington and his troops retreated across New Jersey, eventually able to put the Delaware River between his army and the enemy. Enlistments were coming due. The army was short of supplies. Rivals among the generals actively plotted Washington's replacement as commander-in-chief. Washington knew a bold, and some would say crazy, action was needed to save the revolution. I might add, if there's one place where both bold and crazy are in our DNA, it's New Jersey. It was here where throughout Christmas night and into the early morning of December 26, 1776, Washington and his roughly 2,400 men, who, by the way, were ill-fed, ill-clothed, and in many cases ill-suited for combat, landed after a daring river crossing made worse by a driving sleet storm. Already exhausted, from here they marched, as Courtney also alluded to, downriver to Trenton, where in the early daylight they took the Hessian garrison by surprise, routing the German mercenaries. It was the first American victory in months. The supplies at the garrison were enough to restock empty American food and ammunition stores and to clothe an army clad in rags. Over the next 10 days, buoyed by his victory at Trenton, Washington would continue his campaign, a second Battle of Trenton, and then the Battle of Princeton, before marching north with his men to encamp in Morristown for the remainder of the winter. And it was at the Battle of Princeton where General Hugh Mercer, one of George Washington's closest comrades, was fatally bayoneted by British troops. And as Brian knows better than the rest of us, this county, Mercer County, is named for him. The American Revolution, so close to total and complete collapse, was saved. And it was New Jersey where it was saved. But there is so much more to our revolutionary history. In fact, our history is all around us. I'm not sure if anyone's counted, but there are probably more George Washington slept here signs in New Jersey than anywhere this side of Mount Vernon. This is, after all, the state where more revolutionary battles and skirmishes were fought than anywhere else. And may I add a point of personal observation here. We have not punched at our weight, and I will commit to you, as long as I'm governor, we're going to punch at our weight in terms of telling the story of the importance of New Jersey in the tale of the American Revolution. I was born in Massachusetts, which gets me no votes in New Jersey, but they have done historically a really good job of promoting their story. We're here to say, all of us, the speaker, the county executive, all of us are here to say that will know, with all due respect to Massachusetts, New Jersey will punch at its weight, and we will tell our story loud and proud over the next several years. So this history, among other places, and I see Derek Roseman, a proud resident of Lambertville in the back, and my colleague, this history is found in a stone farmhouse in Lambertville, a house, by the way, which still stands, that Washington made his headquarters before his march with his troops across New Jersey to the Battle of Monmouth. And Lambertville, it should be noted, is where right in downtown you can also find the resting place of Samuel Holcomb, one of General Washington's spies, alongside that of Lieutenant George Coryell, the last surviving of George Washington's pallbearers. And it's at this site, or rather it is also at the site of the Battle of Red Bank in Gloucester County, the true toll of which is only just now beginning to come to light through archaeological research. It's in Burlington City, where the provincial Congress, driven from Elizabeth, hurriedly wrote a new constitution for a new state of New Jersey in July of 1776. Our history is also found at the Sussex County Courthouse in Newton, which loyalist James Moody and his band of followers raided to free imprisoned fellow pro-British New Jerseyans. All across our state, in every county, is a house, a field, or a public building that points directly to our revolutionary history. This is the history that we must keep alive as our country nears its 250th birthday. And it is this history which this investment aims to preserve and protect. So John Adams famously wrote to his wife Abigail, and I quote the president, "Posterity, you will never know how much it cost the present generation to persevere your freedom. I hope you will make a good use of it," to preserve, your freedom. Our task is to make good use of this investment, and for this present generation to preserve not only the sites which played such a role in our nation's war for freedom, but the sites which will always be our reminders of the great cost at which our freedom came. This is what we can do for posterity. So again, thank you all so much to each and every one of you. Patrick, are you here? Patrick Murray is here, who's I want to give him a shout out, who's been rightfully pounding away on our team to make sure that we stand up and be loud and proud about this. But to each and every one of you, thank you for being here and thank you for hosting us so graciously. I hope that many of you will return here on December 11th, shameless promotion here, when Washington Crossing State Park will honor its role in our fight for independence, and then again, not surprisingly, on Christmas Day for the reenactment of Washington's crossing. With that, Tahisha, I think we're going to go to you if it's okay. Please help me welcome our fabulous Secretary of State, Tahisha Way.